I really love frugal living. How about you? Do you love frugal living? Let's talk about it. I want to tell you 6 things that I absolutely love about frugal living. Let's do this. Welcome, I'm Amy, and here at Frugal Over 50, I give you tips and tools for frugal living, and most of them from the perspective of me, a mature woman. Para mis amigas de habla hispana, bienvenido. El día de hoy vamos a hablar de lo que nos gusta mucho de frugal living. Number 1, the first thing that I really love about frugal living is that it helps me to be honest. It helps me to be honest with myself about my life, about my choices, about my finances, about every part of my life. And I love that frugal living gives me the tool to be honest in a way that really feels respectful of myself, if that makes sense. I have often had to hide my financial situation from people. I've often had to hide the truth of my life from people who I thought cared about me but didn't really have my best interests at heart. And learning how to be honest with myself on my frugal living journey has been very empowering in getting out of relationships that weren't great for me, and also in getting into a life that will help set me on a course for a good future. And I learned this from my dad, who gets a lot of credit here on the channel for having given me lots of wonderful tools that it took me a while to really learn and take on board. But he would say, just be honest. He was very calm about it. So the idea was for me to just be honest about where I am, be honest about what I need, be honest about where I'd like to go. And frugal living has given me the exact tools that I need in order to do that. I'm really grateful for that. Number 2, I love that frugal living has given me access to very specific financial tools that have helped me really start to take charge of my financial life after literally decades of not really understanding finances at all. I talk here a lot, of course, about you need a budget, but you folks have also shared lots of other financial tools that you use. I've also shared a little bit about investing strategies. Mostly I invest through work and through a Vanguard target date fund because I'm basic and boring about investments, but I can do it, and I used to not be able to do that. And because of the financial tools that I've gotten access to as I've sought out frugal living, I have really been empowered. And you know, this really started back at the very beginning of my channel with some videos that I don't show people in public anymore, where I literally stuffed cash into envelopes. That was my very first financial tool when I first started the channel. The reason I don't show those in public anymore is because there are almost 12,000 of us, and I don't really want to talk in that much detail anymore to that many people about my finances. But I have to say, this YouTube channel and my cash envelope system that I used to use were my very first steps on finding financial tools that I really loved. And that's all about frugal living and making really good choices that benefit me financially and frugally. Number 3, I love about frugal living that it is practical. And every single day and every single choice that I make in my life, I can make from the perspective of frugal living, and I can make really practical decisions based on my frugal living priorities. I've talked about some of those here. One of my most popular videos that you folks loved is about 10 frugal living habits that changed my life. And the really basic practical things like taking a water bottle with me when I go out. I used to chauffeur my kids around all over town, and it was super easy to go through the drive-thru and get a coffee. But if I just remembered to take my bottle of water, I wasn't tempted. It was a practical choice that saved tons of money and helped me meet my frugal living goals. And that has continued through to this day. The small, everyday practical things have given me a way to feel frugal, and not just to feel frugal, but to live frugal in every moment of every day, and I love it. By the way, if you love frugal living too, I hope that you'll give this video a like and consider subscribing. And if you'd like to contribute to the growth of the channel, click the link below for Buy Me a Coffee, where you can make a one-time contribution or become a monthly member. Let's get back to these things that I love about frugal living. Number 4, one of the things that I absolutely love about frugal living is that it takes time. Now, if you watched my other video about things that I hate about frugal living, I also put it takes time there because it's 2 sides of the same coin. It takes time. And if I am taking my time to do something frugally, like bake bread or meal plan or plan the most frugal way to take a trip, I am not overspending in those moments because I can't impulse buy, because it takes time to sit and to think and to decide and to plan All of that time is time that I am empowering myself. And in the other video where I said I hated it, the part that I was describing was that I don't necessarily like admitting that I have an impulse problem. But the part that I love is that frugal living takes time and gives me a way to address my impulses kindly and gently and proactively and with the best choices possible. And I can look ahead to my future happily because it takes time to live frugally. And every moment that I am living frugally, I'm not spending impulsively, and I might be even saving money. I think that's great. Number 5, I love the frugal living community. This is the other side of something I put in my other video where I talked about sometimes feeling isolated. In my everyday life, I do sometimes feel isolated, but here on YouTube and around the internet, I feel like there's this worldwide community of people who love frugal living. I absolutely love that I can speak Spanish and people love frugal living in Spanish. Me encanta hablar en español con ustedes acerca de frugal living, aunque no sé cómo decir frugal living en español. Díganme cómo explico frugal living en español. Quiero saber. Tell me right now, what part of the world are you watching from? And think about all of the places that we represent right here in the comment section and on this video. All around the world, we are coming together to make frugal choices that benefit ourselves, that benefit our communities, and that benefit our world. And that sense of community is so powerful, and I just love it. Last, and certainly not least, one of the things that I love so much about frugal living is that it gives peace of mind. I talk about this with you folks a lot, and you folks have also shared with me in the comments that one of the reasons you stick with your frugal living journeys is because you have not found anything else that gives you the peace of mind that living frugally has given you. And I share that sentiment. At the time that I started my frugal living journey, I really hated everything about my life, and I wasn't sure why. On paper, it looked pretty good. But once I started learning how to live frugally, I learned how to make choices that really benefited me and my family and my community and my world. And I loved that just tiny little me, who really doesn't have a huge impact out in the world, can still help myself, help my family, help my community, and help the planet with my everyday choices. And I can do this without hurting myself financially. And in fact, I can empower myself financially through frugal living. I can't even describe to you the difference between the peace of mind of frugal living and the chaos of always struggling from impulse to impulse to impulse, and strange impulse purchase to strange impulse purchase to strange impulse purchase. Those were really unhappy days, folks. And now I have peace of mind, and I can carry that peace of mind with me into the future, whether it's easy or whether it's hard. I can tell myself, don't panic. Right now it's tough, but it's gonna get better. And many of us around the world are in a situation where we could desperately use some peace of mind. Frugal living might not take care of all of our peace of mind needs, but it can give us a core to work from. And I love it so much. Wherever you are on your frugal living journey, take the next step. Whatever that next step is for you, and know that you are not alone. And I am so proud of you. Live frugally, change your life, and together we will change the world. I can't wait to see you again soon. Bye-bye.